What's up everybody, Bradley here with Everyday Outdoors, and today we are going to be comparing the Primos tube call against the Woodhaven tube call. Let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this fairly brief, but we're going to be comparing the Primos original snuff tube turkey call against the Woodhaven Turkey Ninja tube call. Now, this is a fairly interesting case. It doesn't happen a whole lot of the time that we can directly compare, you know, a Woodhaven against a Primos, because Woodhaven is like a pretty premium brand, and Primos makes awesome stuff, but it's just not quite on the same level as Woodhaven. But this was a really interesting category because Primos made a really great tube call, and then Woodhaven made a tube call. From using these, I've owned both of these for about a year now. I used them both during turkey season last year. And I feel like I can legitimately say that there's a fair fight here, and we're going to compare them and see which one is the better tube call. Now, first of all, I'm going to compare the sound, the features, you know, the build quality, all that stuff, and at the very end I'm going to bring in my opinion and which one I like better and my thoughts on the whole situation. So first up, we will talk about the Woodhaven tube call. This is, it's one piece of wood. It's pretty good quality. I would still be a little bit nervous about water getting to this if it got super wet during season. So that would make me a little bit concerned that the wood would warp or crack or something like that, because it is just one solid piece of wood and it's the #1 component of the call. And I know it's the same case with box calls, but still, that's just one concern I have for this call. Let's go ahead and try it out and see how it sounds. It's so hard to do a cut on these. And I'm not even going to attempt a gobble because I am horrible gobbling on these and I cannot get it to sound even remotely close to a turkey. So as you guys can hear, it's not bad. I am definitely not the best tube caller in the world. From using them, I do like the sound of this one better. It's definitely easier to manipulate the sound because my hand can fit around it and I can kind of, you know, I've got my hand over it. I can manipulate it a little more. Overall, it's just a little bit easier to get a turkey sound out of this than with the Primos. With the package, it also comes with this nice lanyard, a little rubber band around it, and I don't know if that's just for like grip or whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and start talking about the Primos call here. So this is one piece of hard plastic. It's got the mossy oak bottom land on it. And what's really interesting about this is they have a design, I don't know if it's patented or not, but the reed is all one piece, so it never loses its retention, it never gets tighter or looser really, because there's no rubber band holding it down, unlike with the Woodhaven. And it's really, my favorite thing about it is you can take it off and put it back on really easily. So what I like to do is I take it off and put it into one of those small mouth call containers to protect it while it's in my turkey vest, and then when I'm in the field or when I'm ready to use it, I take it out of the mouth call box and put it onto the tube call. So I can just throw the tube call anywhere in my turkey vest and I don't have to worry about it getting hurt. Now another thing is it is significantly bigger than the Woodhaven tube call. And I don't know why they did this. I don't know if it's meant to really just project those yelps out there and get them clear across fields and clear through the woods. It definitely does that. This is one of the loudest turkey calls I've used, and it could really just punch through the woods on a spring day if you wanted to use it for that. You can get soft with it, so I'll go ahead and use it. This one's definitely not as sweet sounding as the Woodhaven. It's a little more pitched down, I guess, because the reed is looser, but I'll go ahead and demonstrate it. So yeah, the purrs don't sound too good on either one of them. But there's the Primos tube call. I'm not great at using these. They're fairly difficult to use. Out of all the turkey calls I've used, I feel like these are the more difficult ones because you really have to have your bottom lip on that reed just the right way in order to get a yelp that sounds even remotely realistic. So it takes a lot of practice, and if you get one of these, you're definitely going to want to practice a lot before the season starts. Of course, it's not impossible. I'm probably making it sound way more difficult than it actually is. But I just had a harder time with it than with like mouth calls and other stuff. Now, one thing I want to mention real quick before I get into my opinion is the price. The Primos snuff tube call is around $15. I think it's $16 on their website. You'll probably find it a couple dollars cheaper at other stores like Bass Pro and Walmart. So it's right around that $15 mark. And then the Woodhaven call is $43 on the website. And I think you can find Woodhaven in a couple of stores. I don't know if it'd be cheaper. I don't know how much they market these. I'm not really sure, but you're looking around $43 for the Woodhaven and around $16 for the Primos, which is a significant price difference. These two really are not even remotely in the same playing field when it comes to price, which is why I thought this would be a really interesting review. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get into my opinion. So which one do I prefer? It's really hard to say because I find the Woodhaven one easier to use and sounds a little bit sweeter, but I love the fact that the Primos one is a lot more durable. The reed will always stay tight. It's not going to sag, and I'm not going to have to tune it and adjust it year to year. I can take off that piece, put it into the mouth call box, throw it in my vest, and it's good to go, ready for action. And I really, really love that about this Primos tube call. And really, their sound isn't that far off from each other. If the Primos one just sounded horrible and wasn't even remotely usable, that'd be one thing. But really, it's pretty close to the Woodhaven. Like I said, it's not quite as easy to use, mainly because it's a little bulkier and a little bigger. But I'd say if I had to pick one, I would probably pick the Primos one. And a huge factor in that is also the price. Remember, you're only spending about $15 or $16 for this one as opposed to $43 for the Woodhaven. I understand that you pay for quality, but I feel like in this particular case, the Primos one offers just as much with a way cheaper price point. So if I had to pick one, I would choose the Primos one. And another thing I want to say before I close out the video is I am not generally a huge fan of these tube calls. I feel like, you know, even for $15, you could get some super good quality Woodhaven mouth calls, or heck, even Primos mouth calls for that matter. So I feel like if you're going to go spend any amount of money, you know, on some turkey calls, I wouldn't really recommend the tube calls unless you are like a pro who's been doing it for years and you want to try something new and just change things up for the spring and have more fun with it, which I totally get. That's what I was looking to do with these. And so they're definitely fun to use. They're different, you know, it's kind of a conversation starter because you don't see these a whole lot. Overall, I think that both companies did a good job at making a tube call. Personally, I probably won't use either one of them a whole bunch this season. I'll probably stick to my mouth calls and slate calls, but if I do use one, it'll probably be the Primos because of the fact that I can easily store it and keep it in my vest without worrying about it getting hurt. So there you have it. There's the full comparison on both of these turkey calls and my opinion. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If there's anything I forgot to mention or any questions you all have, be sure to put those down in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get to those and answer and reply because I love talking to you all. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed Everyday Outdoors, and until next time, God bless.